Alright, welcome to lesson 15. This is recognizing halves, and we're going to be getting to fractions quite a lot in the 5th grade. Up on the board I have 3 circles, and all of them have a line dividing them by a certain amount. First one's divided by 2, this is 4, and this is 8. A fraction is any part of a whole. The fractions we're concentrating on today are halves, and there's an infinite amount of halves that you could recognize or that you could write yourself. I'm going to put 3 on the board. Now, a half is any object that's split down the middle, cut into 2, right? So here's an object, and if I were just to shade the top part, half of it would be shaded, right? I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Notice I've done the same thing. The top half is shaded. And I'll do the same thing on this one. Now these are all equal to half. Every single one. Just look at how it's shaded. Look at the coloring. Okay? I've shaded half of every one exactly the same. Alright? However, the fractions are going to be written differently. See, on the numerator is going to be the red part, and then the denominator is the total. Okay? So the top number is always the numerator. I'll draw my fraction bars like that. Some of you might draw them like a slash line. That's okay as well. And I'm going to put how many are shaded on the top. I've shaded 1 on this one. On this one, I've shaded 2 sections. And on this one, I've shaded 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. Okay? Now the bottom, you're going to want to put on the denominator. How many spaces were there possible? In this one, there was a spot here and here. There were 2 spots. On this one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 equal pieces. On here, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal pieces. This is the traditional way that you mostly see the word half written, 1 over 2. Okay? That is equal to 2 over 4. And that is equal to 4 over 8. They are all a half. They're just written in different ways. Notice the pattern you see with every one. What's the relationship between the numerator and the denominator? Think about it. Now test it. Does that relationship work on all of them? The 2 doubles to make 4. The 1 doubles to make 2. And the 4 doubles to make 8. So any number that you want to make a half, say you want to make the number 16 a half, double that, you would have 32. So 16 32ths, 16 32ths is a half. It's just written with big numbers. But if I had 32 pieces of candy and I gave 16 away, I had just given a half away. Okay? So that's recognizing halves. Whenever you see the denominator doubling what the numerator has, that's a half. Now what happens when the number goes smaller or higher in the numerator? I have 32 pieces and I just gave 17 away. 1 extra, I've given more than half away. Okay? And if I go lower, I have 32 pieces and I gave 11 or 15 away. I've just given less than half away. So you can recognize if a fraction is more than half or less than half depending on where it is in relation to where the half is at. Okay? Let's take a look at number 3 on your homework to see just how that plays out. Okay? Number 3 on your homework shows 3/5 compared to 6/12. Now first look at it and see if you recognize any halves. Does any of the numbers on the bottom, the denominators, double the numerator? 3 is not double 5, or 5 is not double 3. 12 is double 6. This is your half. Okay, this guy, 6/12 is a half. So you know this is just like a 1 over 2. Now is this less than a half or more than a half? Let's see. What's half of 5? If you were to split 5 in half, you would get 2 1/2. 2 1/2 for you, 2 1/2 for me. Okay? Is 3 more than 2 1/2 It is. So this is greater than a half. 3/5 is greater than 6/12 because it's greater than a half. Right? They give you a tricky one there because that's an odd number. Split in two is a little bit more difficult. Let's go ahead and take a look at one more. Number 5 is 5/10. You recognize a half already? And 7/14. Uh-oh. Another half, right? 5 is half of 10, 7 is half of 14. Both sides are halves. So these are equal. Doesn't matter that this is a 7 and a 14 and it's bigger. It's not technically bigger. It's still a half. Alright? Compare fractions with many different varieties as long as you can recognize where the half is at. And then from there you can judge if a number is greater or smaller. Alright? Hope I've been able to help you out. If you have any more questions, come and see me. Thanks.